Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. We are talking about BB Canada 9 week 2 tonight.
Woo! But first, if you're new to this channel, please click subscribe and give this video a thumbs up.
And if you want to support us on Patreon, there's a link in the description. You can do that. We're not going to stop you.
David, we had an eviction tonight. How are you?
We did. Listen, we haven't been. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.
The eviction. Pour one out for our boy Josh.
Who
I gotta say, nobody drafted on the Nerdtainment draft, and we were right.
I mean, I'm glad we were right, but I felt bad. About it.
I know, and I know that, listen, it's a game, and I don't think it has anything to do with anything. But the fact is that we had Julie, the trans person, voted out week 1, and now Josh, a gay guy, voted out week 2. And I'm like, we have so much great representation from the LGBTQIA plus community. Yes. 2 of them are gone already. All right, fine.
We don't like that, but there's so much diversity in this house that I can't blame it on that.
I know.
Can't say that was the reason.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, look, we didn't have high hopes for Josh coming into the season. You told me you were a lone wolf, and I was like, what? How does this work in a social game? What?
It doesn't. And he acted like a lone wolf the whole time. Like so many scenes of him just by himself in a bedroom, Cam talking to nobody, like figuring out a strategy. And I'm like, this isn't how you play Big Brother. You have to talk to other people at some point. And then when he would talk to other people, they were very uncomfortable conversations because he just doesn't have social skills, it seems.
It was a struggle for him, but I gotta say his DRs were better than most. So natural. He's just talking to us. I really did adore him once he was in the house, and I guess we kind of got to know him better. I did enjoy his personality, and it was just a darn shame that whatever happened on day 3, because we didn't have feeds yet, but day 3, they just talk about it so much.
I know, his
blew
meltdown.
Everything out. Yeah. So whatever happened is a shame because it obviously ruined his game, and here we are. But you know what, David? It was a messy week. These house guests are here to play, and I'm for it.
Yeah, they are ready to consider all options and really have conversations about like, yeah, we're going to flip, and no, we're not going to flip, and maybe we are going to flip. And then like different people in the same alliance are kind of working different strategies at the same time. Like, I'm loving it. These people came to play.
They did. I am quite enjoying it. And it's interesting because we do have this majority group called the Sunsetters. They got some TV time on Wednesday, I think it was. But because all of them are openly having side deals, like they know that Ty and Jed are working, you know, like Beth is close with Austin, you know,
Tina and Latoya are close.
Yeah, like they've got these different things going on. So the house doesn't know that that's a majority working together. And they openly are okay with talking about like, well, I wouldn't be able to put, you know, Austin up. I wouldn't be able to put Kyle up, you know, and it's okay. Those are the conversations right now. Is that going to last? I don't know if this big group's going to last.
I don't know either. You know, so often, well, I mean, sometimes the early alliances work, right?
Oh,
like it just happens. We just saw it happen, right? It happens in the first week, and then they just bulldoze the competition. But I don't know. I feel like I hope that just as many times it falls apart because you really are still getting your bearings in the house and figuring out who you actually like, who you actually trust, who you can trust. And, you know, that's kind of what makes these things eventually fall apart is that like, okay, for example, I can't trust Kiefer at all. It turns out I thought it was going to be this thing where no one would imagine us working together. And yeah, they wouldn't because it's impossible to work with him. You know, like it's those kinds of realizations that they have that tend to like split up these early alliances.
Well, so let's talk about this vote flip a little bit because going into this eviction, it wasn't clear if Josh was still the target. It had gone back and forth a few times this week. So we saw in tonight's episode a little bit of 2 different days. We saw a little bit of Tuesday, which had the house meeting, and then we saw a little bit of yesterday, which was just like a fantastic dramatic flip. Like just good messy stuff. So Josh started out as the target.
Yep.
But he worked on Jed's ego a little bit.
He did.
Got in Jed's head maybe a little bit. Made him think that Austin wanted to backdoor him, which...
It's like, I don't know if it was totally untrue. It's kind of a gray area, you know? Like, I think she can easily be like, no, I never said that, but I don't know. I think she might have considered it.
Right. It's not a complete truth and it's not a complete lie, I guess. Like she definitely by the time we get to the house meeting, she's real ramped up. She's real emotional because she is covering up. Like Josh is spilling truths a little bit.
He's blowing up her game a little bit. And so she's on the defensive, but she's acting like she's on the offensive, you know, shutting down Josh's lies. And at the end of the day, they all can kind of fall back on this, like, Josh is a loose cannon, and they all kind of like handle him with white gloves because he had this big meltdown that unfortunately we'll never see on day 3. But was it now in terms of, because I'm not as caught up on the feeds yet, but we saw the Sunsetters discussing a flip before Josh kind of did his campaign to Jed in tonight's episode. Was that the sequence of things? Was that like outdoor meeting where Jed was kind of saying like, maybe we should flip and get Rohan out? And LaToya was like, we can't, I gave him my word.
Yeah.
Was that first?
Yeah. So like before Rohan even got up on the block, they knew it would be Rohan, and they were already discussing like, should we keep Josh? The selling point of Josh is that he is a huge target, and you can use him as a pawn or as a target any week of your choice. Like keep him in the house. He's all by himself. He's got no one. What's he going to do? So that is something to consider. So yes, the Sunsetters were thinking about it early on.
Yeah.
Then we have this house meeting and they're all against Josh again.
Right.
And then yesterday, this was really interesting yesterday because Kiefer got it in his head. He does want to keep Josh. Kiefer would like to keep Josh. So he gives Josh a pitch, and he gives Josh very specific information. He says, go to these people. And he lists 5 of the Sunsetters. He leaves Beth out because Beth is very much in with Austin, and Austin's the HOH. So Kiefer's smart enough to know, let's not worry about Beth at this point. He names 5 of the Sunsetters plus Beth. Tara.
Tara.
And he's like, go give your pitch and just be like, I'm only talking to these people. Only these people. And he doesn't say like these are an alliance. He doesn't say Sunsetters. He doesn't give like that much information, but just enough that when Josh does go and give these pitches,
they're like, wait a minute.
Names.
This might work out for us because this idiot has no idea that we're all working together. And that means that Josh is basically a pawn for our alliance if we decide to come through with this plan. So like specifically, LaToya is like, that is a great pitch, Josh. Yeah. Well done. You know, you don't even know how good that pitch is. Right. But I am kind of surprised that no one was like, is it weird that he called out mostly Sunsetters? But I feel like they're just like, Josh is crazy, and like, who knows what's going on in his mind.
They do start to get the inkling. There was some talk of like, wait a minute, why those names? Right. Like you see it start to sink in, and they're like, why those names? Wait, does he know something? Because information in Josh's head will come out at any time. Like, he's going to say things. So all of a sudden it does start to go, if he were to go around and say, I made a deal with these people, then everyone's going to assume these people are a thing. So even though no one is saying they're officially a thing, the fear starts to grow. The paranoia starts to grow of like, but we are a thing. Are people going to start putting that together?
Right. Are people already seeing that? Is that why Josh is talking to us 6? He already has 5 figured out, and the only one he's got wrong is Tara. Like, whether or not he knows that we're an alliance, he's seeing a connection there. He's seeing like a reason why the 6 of us might vote together, and that's not good for their game. I also loved in the show when he sets it up, like the house meeting has just gone horribly for him, right? And Rohan is like just sitting back watching him like, dig your grave, buddy. This is great. Yeah. Thank you so much. And then Josh says in the DR, I think, he's like, now that I've sown my chaos, it's time for me to enact my actual plan. And I was like, your actual plan, huh? Okay, Josh.
He was like, when I was talking to myself in the room, I came up with my actual plan. Poor Josh. I mean, you gotta love that he was trying to enact chaos, even though I think he was just like haphazardly, just like, I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna just make chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna try it.
So yesterday's flip was interesting because he got all the Sunsetters on board. They were going to do it. Voting Rohan out. This is it. But Kyle. So Kyle is really close with Rohan. Right. They all got shortened names now. It's Ro. It's Ty.
Yeah. Or it's not Kai. It's Ty. Yeah. Right. Okay. And they call Latoya T, right, or something.
They call her Toya.
Oh, it's not T.
No.
Okay, Toya. Well,
he might be
good to know.
Tina or Tara.
Maybe T
I
is
don't
Tina.
know. Yeah. I'm still figuring it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Beginning of a season. It's a lot of work.
It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was I even talking about? Oh, Kyle
you were
and
talking
Rohan.
about, yes.
They're a duo. And you guys, this is the exciting part because Kyle and Rohan actually don't really want to work with Ty and Jed. They want to target them. Like, that's exciting. 2 pairs of dudes going at each other. Yes.
Even though, like, there's all this talk about the Pretty Boys 2.0 alliance, and like, so you know, they are friendly to a certain extent. You know, enough so that people are like, you have an alliance. But you're right. The truth is that Kyle and Rohan do not like Jed and Ty.
Yeah, it's a fake. Yeah. We're good. Whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So Kyle, in just his conversations, is like, look, if they're, he doesn't know a flip is going on or anything like that, but he's just like, if anyone votes Rohan out, like, I'm going after them. They're now my targets. Like, whatever it is, they're my targets. Don't care what it does to my game, whatever. So Ty and Jed are like, oh, God.
Okay. Well, it's going to be too hard to flip on Rohan now because we're going to have to do a lot of damage control with Kyle.
Right. Now, in reality, they still have the majority. They're in a large alliance. Yeah. They could do whatever they want to Kyle, to Austin. It doesn't matter. But there's something a little skittish about Ty and Jed that they're just not really like ballsy. They're just not really like going for it. They're like, that would take effort. We'd have to like,
they don't want to like make any waves. I think that's kind of a general feeling in the house for a lot of people right now, because Austin was expressing the same thing this week where she's like, it's too early to make big moves. I need to take the easy route while we're sort of like sussing out where people are in the house. But the great thing about Jed and Ty being so nervous about, we can't vote out Rohan because then Kyle's going to come after us, is that Kyle and Rohan already want to go after Jedson and Tashawn. So
you're actually keeping in his buddy. So now you've got 2 of them. You got a pair coming at. That's kind of why I was like, even though I'm adoring Josh and it'd be nice to keep him, I'm like, it's okay. If you keep Ro and you arm him and Kyle together, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it, actually.
I would too. Yeah. I don't want to see another alliance just pick everybody off in the Big Brother house. So like, leave the 2 in together who are coming after another big power duo. I want to see that.
Yeah. So that's kind of what makes them, even though they were like, yeah, Rohan's going out. And then they're like, wait a minute, we'd actually have to like work on Kyle. He might be mad at us. And then Beth, they do eventually loop Beth in because David, did you know that there's a two-way showmance here? We got a three-way thing happening.
Wait a
We
minute.
got a love triangle.
Well, I know that she's already with Ty and Jedson.
That's it. That's a love triangle. That's three people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she's hooking up with both of them. And more power to you, girl. Go for it.
Sure. Get it.
But she's looped in, and she also would like to back out of this flip because she's so close with Austin and she doesn't want to upset Austin.
Right.
So
Rohan is like very much a pawn for Austin. Her target is Josh.
Right. Exactly. So the vote basically last night, because of those three, start to like back it up, and they get, Tara and Tina on board of like, no, it's not worth it. Let's not do it. They get Kiefer on board. Honestly, LaToya was the only one who was like really upset last night to flip it back. She's like, you guys are idiots. This is dumb, but obviously I'm going to do whatever the team says.
So was she over the fact that she had given Rohan her word at that point?
Yes.
She was like, this deal that Josh is trying to make is too good to pass up, and it kind of trumps my word that I gave to Rohan.
Yeah, there was also some information dropped to her falsely that Rohan was going to come after her. That got into her ear. It's a lie, but it worried her enough that she was like, well, I don't want him here then. He needs to go.
So if the flip had happened, it would have been a split vote, right? There were still going to be people who voted for Josh. I mean, we got a unanimous Josh vote, but it was just a select group, like enough people were going to flip to get Rohan out, not everybody.
Right. It was basically going to be the Sunsetters plus Tara.
Right.
Was going to be it. And Brayden would have been blindsided. Austin would have been blindsided. Kyle would have been blindsided. So the reason that it was unanimous tonight is probably because some stuff came out today. They've all just been so messy and back and forth and talking to everyone that I'm sure it just continued today while the feeds were down and they were getting ready for the show. Yeah. And so everyone was just like, okay, it's Josh. Let's just do it.
There is a lot of overlap. Like, as solid as the Sunsetters are or seem to be right now.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of like, people are dipping their toes, and you addressed this earlier. People like kind of have different relationships, and that's what's making the house so messy. Like you said, Beth is close with Austin and Brayden. I think the three of them are kind of close. We then see Jedson and Ty with Kyle and Rohan, although that seems like that's maybe on the outs at this point. But people are just kind of mixing and mingling in a way that like information's getting out, and it's almost so messy that they can't really trace it back to, who spilled anything.
Yes. But, and this is going to lead us into our spoilers here, you guys, because the HOH comp did start on the episode, but the feeds have come back. So we do know the result of that. But before we do our spoilers dance, what was I going to even say? What's bringing us to our spoilers? Oh, that Victoria, who was not involved in this flip, she was aware that scurrying was happening. She was hearing things, and she passed on the information to Rohan and Kyle. Well, first Kyle, that a vote flip was happening. And she names LaToya, because she's not a big fan of LaToya. She names LaToya as the ringleader to flip this vote, and that Jed and Ty were like, no, we wouldn't. So she does relay that information. Kyle and Ro are like, oh, snap. Who was in on this vote flip? Fortunately, Tara and Tina this morning before the feeds cut went on up and were like, dude, a flip almost happened. We were approached. So I think they saved their butts by speaking up first. And he was like, oh, who was it then? And I do think that Kiefer got some of the blame here as well.
Well, that would be appropriate because Kiefer is the one who hatched this plan with Josh. So
that was. So I do feel like Shite has hit the fan a little bit for a new HOH. I think people might there might be a bloodbath that Josh talked about. Because there aren't any easy targets now, and who's willing to go after who?
Yeah. Listen, I'm kind of bummed that Kiefer is getting found out a little bit here because I am enjoying watching him a lot. And I particularly love that all week, whenever Josh would like try to hang around Kiefer and try to talk to him, he'd be like, I just need to be alone right now, Josh. Is that okay? Like, or just walk out of the room while Josh is still trying to hold a conversation with him. Like, he had no time for Josh. And it's very easy to get caught up in that and be like, this person just has to go. They're annoying the crap out of me. But for Kiefer to like have that sort of perspective shift of, I can use this guy. I can't stand him, but that's not the point. We're playing Big Brother, and I can use him as a number. He's like dumb enough for me to, you know, hand him this plan and to agree to be a perpetual pawn for my alliance. Okay, yeah, I'm going to try to make something happen with that. I really enjoy that. And I also just enjoyed like watching him take himself off the block, win the veto. I thought he had an interesting strategy there. So like, I hope he doesn't, you know, just blow up his own game by playing too hard, because I'm enjoying it so far.
He is. I think he will. He's playing hard and I love it. But he definitely rubs people the wrong way sometimes. But he's in the majority alliance. So if the majority can stick together, he's safe for a minute. But I also feel like this majority alliance is not like BB22. They're like, we're going to let a couple people go. Like if someone goes after Ty, we'll just let them go after Ty. Like, you know, they're going to be a big alliance to a point, I feel like.
Right.
This group. Well, HOH, David, we have a true-false face-off. This is kind of early for a face-off.
I know. And I thought that they started it with like 4 minutes left in the hour, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, this is typically a pretty quick competition. It's not like a long endurance thing that's going to go all night and the feeds are going to be off for hours. So I thought, are they going to try to cram this whole thing in 4 minutes? But no, we only get like 3 or 4 people out. I think by the time the episode ended, it was Tashawn, Braden, Beth, and Tara had all been eliminated. And we were kind of waiting on Kiefer versus Rohan to continue.
Right. Yeah. So I like a face-off, and it's interesting having it this early because there are cards to be shown and you're just not really ready to show them.
Yeah.
And I was really trying to analyze, like, obviously Kiefer and Ty are our first two that are just randomly paired, but then they put Tara and Braden up.
Yeah.
Which are definitely two that are just like kind of here, like you don't care about. So maybe you're just trying to get them out.
Kiefer's thinking like 2 people who are not in my alliance, but like I'm not necessarily putting Braden up next to Austin because I know Braden and Austin are really close. Like Braden and Tara maybe aren't as close. So it's like a safe choice.
Yes. But then a Jed and Beth, that's like, I felt like that was a bold.
Yeah.
I know you guys are kind of together.
And then Jed is like, okay, Tara, you're going back up because you put me up there.
Yep.
So definitely some interesting choices.
So, David, let's try. Do we think we can try our spoiler song?
Now, we did not rehearse this before. We did not.
Here we go, guys.
What's the trick?
Okay, what is the trick?
I forget what our hack is.
The hack is I wait. So you just go ahead. So we have to have did I go 1, 2, 3? Did I count us in?
I think maybe you did. Let's try that.
Okay. I'm going to count us in and you go. I hold back.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Okay.
You guys get to watch us talk through this.
Okay, ready?
All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Spoilers. Let us know in the chat. What's the score? First one of the season. I think it's a 10.
10, of course. First one. Just a little rusty. It's been months.
We'll try to iron that out.
We'll work on it. Oh, we're getting not good.
3. Nope. You know what? Amy's not. She has high standards. Okay. Amy is she's got a very discerning eye. I think she's got like extra
everyone else
senses
is around her though. So
I think Lady Di is where I'd
Oh,
like to go next.
Lady
Thank
Di's the
you.
winner of
Thank
this
you very much.
stream. Lady Di, you get an extra shout out from us. Thank you very much. But Amy does have high standards.
She
Okay.
does. Yes.
All right. Well, let's move on because the feeds have come back, you guys, and we do know who the HOH is. It's Victoria.
Victoria. Now, how was that in sync?
Oh, that was not.
Let us know.
You didn't even.
It was in sync on my end.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, perfectly.
No. All right, you guys. This is going to be fun. Victoria's.
Yeah.
She's her own person. She's her own thing.
I can't wait to see how this played out because we saw in the veto competition, Victoria was like, I'm not trying to win this. I won the first thing. So like, I don't want to paint, too big of a target on my back with these people. But here she is winning again. I think it is very much going to be sort of informed by who's left, who is she competing against. Is this someone that she feels she can trust or whatever? But I don't know that she
Victoria has strong feelings about people. She definitely has people she doesn't like. And unfortunately, one of them is my girl, LaToya. God, yeah. I'm so mad that they don't get along. But yeah, I don't know. Is Victoria really bold enough to really target the people she doesn't like? That's big and bold. And yeah. I mean, she very much could.
She needs to, I think, use this as an opportunity to position herself well in the house because, the reality is that she's outside of this big alliance. So she's not in the best position right now. I don't want her to go after LaToya for sure, but I don't see them really working together ever. I just think that their personalities don't fit together. LaToya's too intense for her. Victoria's a party girl, super fun, very smart, very physically capable. She's proved that in 2 challenges now, but she's just a little more let's have a good time, guys. Relax. And LaToya's very serious,
Yeah.
So I don't see them working together.
LaToya's fairly intense and, she's not going to get along with everybody, but I love her.
Yeah.
And I love her and Tina together. David, your girl
Tina. Who would have thought these two?
Not me, but
I'm
here for it. Yes.
I know. Yeah.
I
think Tina and Kiefer were the two that we were kind of pinpointing before the season started, where we were like, oh, they feel like the outsiders. But Tina, I think, is ingratiating herself much better than Kiefer is.
Yes, for sure. Tina is definitely playing the game. She has her mind on it, figuring out strategy. I love it. And I love watching her and LaToya really sort of talk it through.
Yeah.
It's great. Now, Victoria also doesn't really love Tara. Tara's rubbing a few people the wrong way, just like we assumed ahead of time, she was going to be a lot to handle. Yeah. Hey, was that in sync? Because it felt in sync on my end. Sometimes David and I are just naturally going to be in sync.
Yes, it just happens.
It happens. So I don't know, Tara would actually be an easy person to target because a lot of the house could get behind that.
Yeah.
I feel like Kyle and Ro are definitely safe. They get along with Victoria.
Nice. I mean, I'm sure Rohan will appreciate the break because he's been kind of on the bubble or on the block for these first couple of weeks. So he probably is breathing a sigh of relief.
Yeah. But otherwise, I'm just excited to see what Victoria does with all of this power. You get it, girl.
I know. And just what information are people going to bring to her? What is she going to learn? HOH is always a good spot to be in because, especially this early, because people are coming to you trying to, figure out how they can guarantee their safety. And so they're just volunteering information. And sometimes people have diarrhea of the mouth and that's the best. So hopefully we get to see some of that with Victoria because I'm enjoying her as well. And I want her to figure out how to kind of work her way into a good spot.
Thank you, Edward. I completely forgot to bring up that teams are over.
Oh, right. So she doesn't just have 5 options to
Yes,
nominate.
she
Yes.
doesn't. Teams
I
are
know. What a
done.
thank you for yeah, that was so dumb, teams. To do it for 2 weeks? What's the point?
Yeah, I mean, Arissa said a few weeks, and so I would have liked one more week with it.
Yeah,
Some people didn't like the twist, so they're like, "Yay, teams are over already." But I'm like, is it just because one team got sort of knocked down, you know?
I guess so. They lost
If
2
it had
people.
if it had bounced back and forth, maybe
But
we would
I'm
have
like,
gotten one more week
commit to
out of it.
something, Big Brother. Like you built up this whole thing that's going to change the face of Big Brother. Big Brother first. We're going to be competing in teams. And then it's 2 weeks of it's not even like the premiere was last Wednesday, right? I mean, I
Yeah.
guess they've been in the house for a couple of weeks, but we've only had the show on for 8 days. And this huge history making twist is already over. Like, if you're concerned about the teams being imbalanced, throw in another twist and kick somebody over onto the other team. Pull a survivor,
Yeah.
drop your buffs and switch it up. But
Yes.
like, keep the team
Agreed.
aspect. I'm just like, it's such a like it's just like such a letdown when they're like, oh, this twist isn't working or people aren't liking it, so we're just gonna bail after 2 evictions.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Like, I was all for 7 versus 5. I was like, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah.
We did
Yeah.
teams. Let's go.
I agree.
Thank you, Morris, for the sub on Twitch. I appreciate it. Guys, I'm also on Twitch. Check it out.
Hey.
Yeah, so teams are over. So Victoria can put up whoever she darn well wants to put up. And people were already aligning outside of their team. So I don't really think that changes anything. I wonder if the producers were like, and then when teams are over, they have to start working differently. And I'm like, I think they were already doing that.
They got it. Like they already knew that teams were only going to be a few weeks, and everybody was thinking like, okay, this is great for now. And the benefit of someone from my team winning HOH is that I am safe for the week. But ultimately, we've got to reach across the aisle here. Like, I'm not necessarily loyal to these, 5 or 6 other people.
Right. Yep. Well, again, like I said, I'm excited about a Victoria. HOH. She's on Jolene's team. So you know what, David? Jolene's not doing too bad this year.
I know. What the heck, Jolene? Stop. I was like, whew, thank goodness Rohan didn't go home this week because he's on mine.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, you do have 1 point. Jolene is going to get some more points, but Jess is the leader right now. I got nothing. My team, big old.
But you don't have negative. You don't have anybody on the block yet, right?
Yeah, no.
So,
I mean, my people are okay. They're going to be there for a minute, but they just are.
Remind me who you
to.
have.
I have LaToya, Kyle, and Beth.
Decent. I think
Kyle is not who I thought he was going to be. So,
what did you think Kyle was going to be?
I thought he was going to be my Cody, like winning a bunch of comps.
Oh yeah, no.
But the girls are killing it. None of these dudes are winning.
No. Well, Kiefer won. Kiefer won.
Yeah. Kiefer won a veto, which is why Jess has Kiefer, so she's doing just fine over there.
Yeah, good for Jess. Wow.
Oh, well, you guys, thank you so much for joining us live in the chat.
Yes.
David and I will be here on Thursday nights. We'll bump it up a little earlier after Amazing Race Australia ends, but we'll be here for now after that. And then on Fridays, I join Jolene on her channel so that we can talk about noms and targets and all that jazz from tonight and tomorrow's live feed. Spoilers. And then I'm out of breath, David. What do we got next week?
Truly. I'm like, Sarah, take a sip of wine. Give yourself a break.
It's only Thursday.
Oh, because then, is Sight Unseen back on Saturday? No.
It should air this weekend. Yeah, it's going to be every other weekend now that we're super busy.
Okay, so Sight Unseen is this weekend. Monday, we've got another drag race because I got news for you guys. Drag race is never going away. This season is never ending. And then we've got the finale of Bachelor next week. We've still got Survivor Micronesia going on the Patreon. Like, Sarah, you are building an empire.
Yes. Sarah has a podcast.
Yeah. Speak it into existence.
Get it? Get it? If you know, you know. All right, you guys, thank you again. Oh, and for those of you joining us later.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Let us know how you felt about Josh's eviction. Of course, are you as disappointed as we are by this team twist ending so unceremoniously?
Probably
not. And if you stuck around for the spoilers, let us know what you think Victoria's HOH is going to be like.
Yes, absolutely. All right, you guys. We'll see you next time.
Okay, bye.